Trump is calling it a great honor. It's not the first time he's been featured on the magazine's front cover. A cartoon figure of his face was on the cover twice this year. In both instances, Trump's face appears to be melting. Those covers featured the captions "Meltdown" and "Total Meltdown." Bryan Walsh is Times international editor. He joins me from New York. So how does Donald Trump go from being a total meltdown to Times Person of the Year?
Well, I'd say for one thing, he does it by winning the election. And part of the reason why we selected him for this position really is that he does have an amazing amount of influence. There's no real other figure in 2016 who had as much influence as he did, for better or for worse, again, than Donald Trump. And the fact that he was able to win the election despite experts and others in the press saying he couldn't do it, the fact that he's able to do that on his own, the fact that he's representative, I think, of a global movement of populists, nativists, anti-elitists, all sort of put him in this unique and very influential position.
I understand you were involved in the discussions around who should be Person of the Year. How did those discussions go exactly?
Well, it's almost every time a new president wins, that person's almost certainly going to get this selection, I think, just because by virtue of the fact the American president is so influential. When you have a new person in the White House, that's going to give you a big boost. But he's really unusual. I mean, there's no getting around that. I mean, he's been different in how he ran his campaign. He's been different in how he'd already begun to run his presidency. So it was a challenging conversation to figure out how best to frame it and who else to put on the list. But, really once he won that election, it was hard to think of anyone else being here.
And many people assume the title of Times Person of the Year is usually a good thing, but is that necessarily true?
Well, it's funny, Trump himself had said it was an honor, but it is not actually. I mean, there had been others on the list who maybe, we wouldn't think of as an honor. I mean, most recently in 2007, Russian President Vladimir Putin was Times Person of the Year, and that's not someone anyone would think is an unalloyed good person. So really, again, it's tricky, but it is influence, and influence is something that can be done for the better or for the worse. When it comes to Donald Trump, of course, we're just at the beginning of what that influence is going to be, and we'll really begin to see it play out starting on January 20th when he assumes the Oval Office.
Did the decision surprise you a little, though? Be honest.
No, not really. I mean, I sort of pushed for some other consideration of some international figures, and of course, Turkey's President Erdogan is on the list as number 4 runner-up, and he had a very influential year. Of course, he just survived losing his life and power in a coup, and came out of that even stronger. And Turkey itself is kind of at the center of a lot of crises right now. But ultimately, not just because Trump won in the United States, but because of what he means to this greater populist movement around the world, there was really no one else we could have put in here, I think.
Can you talk me through the title, Donald Trump, President of the Divided States of America? That's the title on the cover. What does that mean? What did you want to get out there, get the message across? Well,
that to me, it gets at what is a reality here in the United States. I mean, almost always when you have a president, almost half the country didn't vote for that person. But this is very different, I think, than President Obama when he was Person of the Year and President 2008, 2012. This is someone who, of course, didn't actually even get as many votes as his opponent, Hillary Clinton, but also someone, I think, who ran a campaign that I think was divisive, and that he actually was able to succeed in part because he was able to divide America and fire up that base to a degree that actually brought him to the Oval Office. Now, of course, the real challenge for him is, can he do, as he said he wants to do, bring that divided country together? It's an amazing challenge, a tremendous challenge, as you might put it. And, I don't think you've ever seen the country this divided before, and he's both a symbol of it and also a cause of it.
Now, I got to ask you, because I'm sure you know this is the chatter online right now. The cover may have some hidden meaning. Some are saying that M is interestingly placed right there on Trump's head. The appearance of horns is what we're hearing. Was that done intentionally?
Well, it's funny. We had a Hillary Clinton cover last year, which was also called out supposedly for putting horns in her. And when you've actually gone back, just the fact that M does happen to put horns on a lot of people. So I trust that this is not the Da Vinci Code. We weren't trying to send any secret codes or messages like that.
All right, there were horns on the Pope once, right, on one of the covers. Okay. Bryan, pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bryan Walsh in